one of the dimensions and approaches to the kind of attachment-informed EMDR, which I find so powerful, is to understand the dysfunctions that we carry, the nightmares, the flashbacks, the internalized perpetrators even. Every dimension, every aspect of presentation, a client's presentation, all of the dysfunctions came into being with a survival-informed, benevolent intent. Kind is perhaps the wrong word, but that's drawing from NLP, the neuro-linguistic program, the idea that a part, however ostensibly dysfunctional, is there because it wants to help, in the sense that those parts of you came into being at formative moments in early childhood as the only way you could survive at the time. And Gabor Mate puts it brilliantly. His new book, he's written some wonderful stuff. He's got marvelous clips on YouTube. Any listener who wants to hear more about this, Gabor Mate, M-A-T-E, Hungarian extraction, living in Canada, a physician, now into his 70s. He captures this brilliantly, that in childhood, as mammals, as the most helpless animal on the planet when we're born, and leading for the longest period, the attachment figure to keep us safe, fed, sheltered. The conflict between authenticity and attachment is a sort of central experience of the human infant. And if there is a conflict between authenticity and attachment, because attachment is literally survival critical, without attachment, I die. I get eaten by a hyena. The predators circling the village will pick off the vulnerable and the young if they get separated out from the parents and from the safety of the group, of the flock, of the herd, of the group. The connection, the attachment to the primary caregiver is therefore life. It's survival essential. So authenticity goes out the window. So you, in your 6-year-old experience and the build-up to it, you're in a new situation and you're left with a wound, with a piece of unfinished business which cannot be metabolized in the relationship with your primary caregivers, because your need is to attach. Otherwise you die, you starve, you can't look after yourself, you can't pay the bills and so on. So the price that we pay for survival is such that the parts that develop, the aspects of self that develop early in childhood to get us through, of course, become later in life highly dysfunctional, and they continue to run the show with all of the sophistication of a 6-year-old.
This is sorry. Well, I was just thinking this is very Jungian, really, isn't it? Because we're talking about shadow, and I think we could justify this as the same as sort of the shadow.
Absolutely, yeah. Jung was brilliant about this. He wrote so presciently about this.
He was on it, wasn't he? And so we all have, to some degree, that discrepancy between the authenticity and the attachment, the authentic self and the attachment adapted self.
And of
so
course
do we all need EMDR?
Well, we all need attachment. Human beings are creatures of attachment, and that's why you and I and anybody who goes into therapy, the primary things we bring into therapy is relationship, is attachment with others. And there's a wonderful book by Solomon and Tatkin, Stan Tatkin, and forgive me, I can't remember the Solomon first name, but Love and War in Intimate Relationships. It's a fabulous book about the neurobiological dance between partners, that millisecond by millisecond, and we are each other's primary attachment figure in adulthood if we have the good fortune to be in a relationship that can survive and survive storms. And the co-regulation, this sort of lending of each other, we share our nervous systems with the other, and that's what we do in therapy. Primarily, it is the relationship that gives that bedrock. But then with these extra tools, with EMDR, we really roll up our sleeves and we befriend the parts and say, hey guys, we really get that you needed to act out and be dysfunctional in all of these ways, and you needed to break that shell at that time. let's find out what the survival story is so that you can leave what belongs to the past in the past and take forward the good stuff into the future. And the EMDR is just awesomely powerful in distilling out what is adaptive and needed as we go forward, and what can be, with gratitude for the hard work that it's done, sort of put in the book and put on the shelf as a memory without the emotional charge attached.